I'm sorry. Very sorry. My financial juice was up so loud. It was exploding in my ear. Anyway, the announcements of the vaccine effectiveness, I think that they could have some influence on this report. That's what I'm thinking. I'm not positive. But my gut feeling was, basically this report, we'll look at the videos real quick. And, I'm going to trade it because we have a daily market report. So I'm going to probably trade it normally. And I'm kind of optimistic that it might be a good, positive report based on the fact that people are so optimistic about the efficacy of the vaccines. Okay. So that's what I think. I don't know that I'm 100% right. You never know how a report's going to transpire ultimately. It's just a thought. Chantal, I'm not able to get it working. Let me try one more time. At a minimum, okay, it is working. Chantal, also post, if you would, the class info. So folks, don't forget, we have a free class at noon. Everybody's invited. We'd like it if you want to come. I'm just going to talk about appointment-based trading. The best place to sign up is there. You can stream it on YouTube if you want, and that's the link for that. But you could also come to our GoToWebinar room, and that's always not delayed or anything like that. I'll try to remember to go over this at the end also. So let's look at the daily market mover, about the report. So, this report's been somewhat inconsistent, not unlike many of the reports. A pandemic, a pandemic has a way of creating inconsistency. And that's just the fact of life, the pandemic. A pandemic has a way of creating inconsistency. So even though our last 3 trades didn't work, I'm going to trade this today. All right. So I might wind up having a losing trade as the last trade of the day, of the week, which I hate. But there's a chance that as long as gold looks safe, if gold doesn't look safe, then I won't trade it and we'll be done for the week. That's just the way it is. There's no way I can change that. But I think there's a possibility that maybe the consumer news, I was reading the word noise. The consumer news is in the I'm sorry, I was reading some news. There will be the news. I think the news has the potential to move the market because I'm thinking, like I said, that there may be some vaccine influence positivity in the news. Okay. That's what I'm thinking. Let's look. So we could look at some videos. Looking at the videos isn't going to offer us a lot of help on this particular trade today, because I'm not saying that that it should be a live trade for the average trader, because the behavior over the past 3 is not winning. If you go out 5, you're 2 wins, 2 stops, and a cancel. It's better if you go out 5 months, and then if you go out 6 months, you're dull on one of them. Okay. Let's look at a couple of videos and see what we think. The videos are always helpful. So 11:13, I definitely remember the stop. And remember that there's a difference in data between preliminary and revised. When you see a report that says preliminary data, that's generally more impactful than revised data. Revised data is exactly what it sounds like. The data came out already 10 days ago or 2 weeks ago, the preliminary report, and that has the most impact. The revised data just doesn't have as much impact, because usually the revisions aren't that great. There's always exceptions, okay, to everything. It's no different than anything in life. Exceptions, okay? So gold filled the right way. This should have been a perfect trade. Everything about the news result was great. It just didn't respond, and it stopped us out. Nothing about it. It just didn't work. It looked great, but it just did not work. Okay. And it was quite negative news. It should have shot up and been a good report. The offsets were good. Everything about it, it just did not work. You can't do anything about that. It happens. It's just part of event trading. If you go to October, it's a 20-second cancel, okay? 20-second cancel. Now, I canceled in 10 seconds. Why? It looks like, it did not fill anyway, it looks like, if you look at your brackets. It didn't fill for 20 seconds. Normally, it fills quicker. That's why I canceled after 10 seconds. Normally, in the years of trading this report, it used to be a 10-second cancel. September, the news was good, and it stopped. Okay, that didn't work. Now, you can see that gold kind of so September, we were at 0 when we took the trade, right? So that moved. It should have gone straight up. Again, you had a report. You had a report that, based on the news, should have been a great short. Okay. It filled the wrong direction. Remember, gold goes the opposite direction that it should. Okay. It just did not work. So that was what did I say? September. So Brian, are you in the room? Okay, so 9 is a stop. Okay. 11 was a stop. Okay. So you can see this report's been tough for the past 3 months. There was a cancel and 2 stops. And then when we go to August, yeah, I got it now, Shantan. If we go to August, it's kind of mixed news. When you look at it, you don't have agreeable news. That surprisingly still worked. Okay. That one worked. And we could look at July real quick. So here's July. July shoots up. Negative news goes the right way. Hits the first target and hits the second target. Okay. So July worked. So unfortunately, the trade hasn't worked in 3 months. Has not worked in 3 months. I'm thinking, no guarantees. That there's a possibility you could get some movement from consumer positive news, which would drive gold down. Okay. It would drive gold down if, there's really good news. Gold generally, it doesn't always, but gold generally would go down on good news. That's the normal reaction. Okay. So let's set this up. So it's a bracket of 5. Bracket of 5. Okay. One target for 5 ticks. One target for 8 ticks. I'd make that 12. if I was real serious about trading this live, I mean, I'm going to leave it where it is because the trade doesn't have a history of being a big winner lately. Excuse me. But I think if it's going to work and be a winner, it's going to go more than 8 ticks. Okay, that's what I think. The entry time, $9.59.58. Let me apply it and okay it. And let me check my connection. Oh, good. Okay. Go over my trade once more. So it's a bracket of 5. One target for 5 ticks, one target for 8 ticks, risking 10 ticks per contract. That's our stop. The entry time is 9:59.58. It's a 20-second cancel. It's a breakout trade. I choose the account I'm trading in. And then I like to label the trade with the instrument that I'm trading and the name of the trade. Okay. See, while there are a lot of numbers and fields that look like you can change them, most of the fields don't get changed. Depending what the trade is, you might have more fields that do get changed, but more often than not, there's not a ton of things that you have to do to have a trade. Okay. We're trading gold February. Let's check our sync, right? We check our sync. How do we check our sync? By going to the website time.is, and it makes an attempt to put your computer in time sync. Okay. I use that website rather than trying to sync via Windows because syncing via Windows is buggy. It's full of bugs. Okay. And that's why we do it the way that we do it. Syncing via Windows often just returns errors. You know, it says not synchronized. So on the PPI report, gold was tradable. It just barely, honestly, folks, it just barely kept us from being filled early. On that particular trade today, it would have filled early in the direction we wanted it to. Gold was moving up at the time of the report. The news turned out to be bad, and gold filled us on the upside. And that would have been the right direction. But you can see how important activation time is in an event trade. That's why we sync. Okay. If your activation time is wrong, you can get filled early. before the news comes out, that you don't really want. So one of the problems to my theory about this trade is gold is trending strongly up. And I'm thinking that if there is a big jump in consumer expectations, it's going to have to fight that trend up to go down. Gold's pretty bullish today. So, you know, it's just an issue that you think about. You know, you have a high a day that was tested and broken through before the open. You could see high, new high, new high. Gold made a whole bunch of new highs. Gold's bullish today. There's no doubt about it. Gold is bullish. That's what this little number is here on the left. Jaquan was asking me yesterday, what's that little number on the left? It's an indicator called the net change display. It's part of NinjaTrader. And I like to use it because it just shows me how bullish or bearish the index we're trading is. And you know, sometimes that might give you a handle on what to do, what, you know, how long to stay in a trade. Depends on the power of the report. If it's a very powerful report like the jobs report, you can almost ignore everything that's going on around the jobs report market-wise, because it's such a strong report and so impactful that, you know, you could have markets going up, markets going down, and the jobs report will still act like a impactful report because so many people are looking at it, trading it. And then you have a report like this. This is not generally a super impactful report. It's more what I call a mid-level report. And mid-level reports, they can struggle sometimes when the world news is overwhelming. In other words, the world news can sometimes overwhelm a mid-level report so that the reaction is just not that strong. Okay, we've got a minute. Almost forgot to record it. I love to record the trades so we can review them right after we trade it. So look, there's no denying you've got gold moving up. I'd rather the news be bad because I think the odds are better with bad news that gold is going to go up and test the high of the day. So I'm protecting, I protected the profit. Even though the news was positive, it wasn't nearly as positive as I thought it would be. And I think it struggled. To continue on its way down, possibly. Because look, it's reversing now. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Now, you have no way to know that that's going to happen. There's just no way to know. Okay. I mean, that's what should have happened at the initial move. And it should have hit both our targets, and we would have made $110. So we would be up 120 total instead of 70. I protected my profit. It's the weekend. I don't really feel like losing money because the report didn't do what I thought it would do. It did wind up doing what I thought it would do, which is kind of interesting, but it didn't do it in the manner that I thought it would do it. And there's nothing you can do about that. That's just part of trading. You can have an expectation for something. It doesn't mean the expectation is going to be met. Let me turn off my trade and so you can see my orders. We'll watch the video in a second. I just want to record the movement. It never quite made it to the PP, which certainly the PP is a good reversal point. And you have a bullish index, and it burst 1842.80. It was 9 ticks away from the PP. Not quite close enough to take that reversal. Okay. Although, I mean, you could argue that you'd use a 15, 18 tick stop and you'd have a winning reversal. Would you reversal it at the high today? I probably wouldn't because gold's too darn bullish. It might work, right? You might work at the high, right? I'm putting myself in sim, folks. Sim, just for fun. Do you want to sell? Do you want to sell the high if it gets there for a reversal? Maybe, because gold's looking a little tired right now. It's struggling, right? It is struggling. What's interesting is you don't have a good squeeze signal. The squeeze really didn't work great for us today. You don't have trending squeeze. See, that's a nice trending squeeze. That's a nice trending squeeze. At the time of the trade, it was trending, I guess, at 10 o'clock, but it trended. You did get a reversal. I'll take that back. You got a signal at 0230 if you could have gotten in. Okay. It did give you a signal. You had a trend going down, and then you had your potential signal. I don't think a short is wise. We can watch it. Even in sim, I think it's good to practice good habits, right? See, I think it's going to keep going up because gold's just so darn bullish, even though we made a little bit of money on the news going down. And in some ways you could say, thank you, market. The markets did us a favor, because that you could see, even with the news being what it was, gold should be pushing down. It didn't, but the market news was strong enough. And if we watch the video, now, before I forget, just so everybody knows, come to our free class today. Okay, we're not selling anything. We're just teaching, answering any questions you have. We'd love for you to come to the class. Let me show you where to go real quick. Now, how far above the high did it go? 46.40. 13 ticks. So you would have survived if you had a 15 to 20 tick stop, right? But you risked all that money and you'd be negative still. Now you'd be positive by 2 ticks. Okay, that high of the day is the potential reversal point. You know, gold might be tired here, but the squeeze isn't saying so. I would not have taken that with real money because it's so darn bullish. Look, it's up $9. Gold, 92 points is $9. Come to the class, use this link. It's our go-to webinar link. And everyone on YouTube is invited as well. Come to our class. It's at noon, 12 p.m. Eastern time. Okay. 12 p.m. Eastern time. If you want to watch it on YouTube stream, that link is that. Okay. ABT, appointment-based trades. Just a cute way of saying appointment-based trades, KW. Appointment-based trades. All right, let's look at the video. So, you think about what could have been. Today, if the PPI report had been reliable, we would have traded it with 2 contracts and been comfortable staying in. But because it was so inconsistent, and this trade struggled from similar behavior over the past 3 months, it didn't have any winners at all. So the only reason I had a little bit of confidence in this trade is I thought what was going to happen, which did happen. I thought that the consumer news would be positive and it would drive the price of gold down. Okay. What I didn't count on was how bullish gold would be before the trade. That's nobody's fault. That's not something you can know in advance, but certainly it's something you have to pay attention to, right? We got filled the right way. The news was very positive, like I thought it might be. And it was a little bit late. The market already responded. But because gold was so bullish, and because it's usually what I do, I normally protect my profit. It hit my first target, so I moved my stop to break even. I mean, when I was taught futures trading, you were not allowed to, under any circumstances, to let a winner become a loser. That was like one of the worst things you could do. Let a winner become a loser. So this trade was a winner. It hits my first target there. And then it kind of struggles, right? It looks like the trade's over. It doesn't keep going. It reverses, takes my stop out, looks like it's going to keep going up. Then it starts to just, hang around. And right there, it looks like it's going to be a definite stop. Where was my stop? Let's look. I don't think it would have hit our stop. No, the stop was far away from where it was. There was no danger. Wait a minute. 845.60. It got to 845.10 before it acted crazy. It got to 845.30. Okay, so it got fairly close to the stop, making me think, wow, I'm a genius. I absolutely should have gotten out of that trade. And then gold did the unexpected. There's no way anybody knows this is going to happen. Not a chance that you have any idea. This is how it should have responded to the news. Watch. That was a news move, but I don't know why it did that, because it wasn't from the specific news. But that's the move I would have expected. That would have given us our full profit of $110 because we only had 8 ticks and 3 ticks. But either way, we have a winning trade. I don't mind finishing with a small win. It's okay. These were 2 difficult trades because neither one of them has been behaving, okay? I have faith in my knowledge. And when I say my knowledge, I have faith in all the years I have watched this report, all the trade videos I have watched, the videos we watched today. I felt it was worth risking live 2 contracts on this trade. I wouldn't have traded 5 contracts on it. I didn't think it was worth the risk. Does anybody have a question? Anybody have a question? This has been what I think is a fantastic week for education. And we'll talk about some of that later. I think it's been one of my hardest trading weeks, but a great educational week. Chantal, did you want to ask me something about NinjaTrader 8? Maybe with people in the room, if I don't know the answer, other people would know also. I'll know. I know. I'm a genius. I know. You need a second? So does anybody have any questions that they'd like to ask me right now or no? If not, bring them to the class. Chantal, am I waiting for you to ask me a question? Okay, when click on the chart to change contract, you want to know how to change the contract? So if you right click the chart, there's a couple of different, with Ninja 8, Chantal, not that way. Okay, explain better what you mean. Do you mean up? You don't mean up here in tools, do you? Do you mean up there in tools? When you click anywhere on the chart, how do you change the contract? How do you change the contract? Oh, just type it in. Like, let's say I want to make sure you don't have a trade enabled. Just type the contract, ES 1220. And give it a second, and it'll be that contract. Just make sure you click the mouse before you start typing it. GC 221. There you go. Okay, so now if I click now, you don't see anything happen. But if I type, you'll see it. Yeah, you click with the left mouse button, not the right mouse button. Okay. Left mouse button. Because always when you click with the right mouse button, you're going to get menus. Okay. So a small profitable day today. And it is what it is. I mean, there was no way I had confidence in the PPR report to trade it properly, size-wise. Not properly, to trade it with more risk. I didn't have confidence to trade it with more risk. That's just what it is. Okay. So I'll see everybody at noon. Last chance. Power drive, as Bruce Springsteen always says. I'm sure that's Born to Run. Last chance power drive. If you Google last chance power drive, guaranteed it's coming up Born to Run. Yeah, Born to Run lyrics. Last chance power drive. I know I'm not crazy. And I'm not a Bruce fanatic. I'm a Born to Run fanatic. I'm a Jungle Land fanatic. That's like, out of all the songs written in the history of humanity, Jungle Land, I think, is probably number one. It's in the top five. It's in the top five. Here's our class. Come to our class. Okay. Jungle Land in Sweden, I believe it was, when it was performed for the first time after Clarence Clemens, Bruce Springsteen's original sax player, died. It was performed by, I think it's his nephew. He's also a Clemens, who took his place. When they played Jungle Land for the first time after Clarence Clemens died, it was one of the most emotional, beautiful musical performances I've ever seen in my whole life. It's just, I mean, whether you like the song or not, it's something you should experience if you like music. Who doesn't like music? Okay. All right, folks. I'll see everybody at noon. See you in a little bit. Take care.